Bernie Sanders took a bunch of diabetics to Canada to buy cheap insulin. Progressives took the opportunity to praise him as a noble, valiant hero of the people who cares so much about the sick in this country, and also praise Canada for their healthcare system's superiority to ours. But the reality is the policies he has always advocated for and continues to advocate for make insulin unaffordable in this country. Progressives fail to ask, why is insulin cheaper in Canada? It's available over the counter. They want you to believe it's because of their Medicare system and price controls, but it's not. Now, why can't insulin be available over the counter here? It's because of the overregulation in medicine. This is a direct result of the left's authoritarian stranglehold on medicine and the denial of patients' rights in this country. We must look at one of the few things Canada is doing right with regard to healthcare. It would be one thing if Bernie and his cult were advocating for making insulin available over the counter, which would make accessing it much easier for all. But they don't want insulin to be made over the counter, and they have no intention of deregulating medicine in the name of helping people who are negatively affected by the ideology of the government preemptively making blanket decisions for us in the name of our own safety. So why don't progressives fight to make insulin available without a prescription and allow for legally importing it from Canada and other countries? Instead, progressives get on some high horse about market fundamentalism and don't really offer any kind of solution other than a political revolution. Here is the solution. Deregulate. You want things cheaper, let's make more things available without a prescription. Let's allow for the importation of drugs from other countries, especially when they are cheaper. Let's allow for the use of experimental treatment. Let's allow for the importation of non-FDA approved treatments that have shown effectiveness. Bernie Sanders does not believe in most of these. Progressives are unwilling to ask, what is causing the problems they aimlessly screech about, and they should be prepared to follow solutions wherever they may be, no matter how bad they make their ideology look. Bernie Sanders and the progressive cult want Canadian prices, but don't want to take the steps Canada has done to drive the price down in this case. And let's be honest, was there any concern for the people who had to ration insulin after Obamacare because they couldn't afford insulin on top of their health insurance? No. It was all about people with pre-existing conditions getting coverage and not about those same people getting the medical treatments they need. Obamacare made many diabetics worse off in this country by forcing them onto high-premium, high-deductible health insurance. As a result, they paid high prices for the health insurance coverage and received no benefits until they had paid thousands of dollars for their deductible, so were essentially paying cash prices for insulin anyways, on top of the premium. But the left still will not even acknowledge that, nor will they apologize. Now they want to act like they are looking out for diabetics. No. These all contribute to the lack of quality healthcare in this country, as well as the rising costs. And they are all a result of progressive policies. You don't get to hide behind morality when your ideology is behind the immorality you claim to fight against. If you believe the government can restrict access to healthcare, you are part of the problem, and that directly contradicts the belief that healthcare is a right. Overregulating medicine is depriving people of accessing healthcare under the guise of safety, and there is no regard or safety nets in place when these progressive policies harm people. Without progressive policies and their blind faith and regulation, this kind of thing would not be necessary. Until they admit their own culpability in the rise of Big Pharma and stop advocating for authoritarian healthcare regulation policy, nothing will change.